one of the arguments that I hear from them, it's a common one. Well, if if demons are extricated when a person gets saved, once you become a Christian, you can no if that is true, you can no longer have demons inside of you. Then why did Jesus cast out demons? For example, Mark chapter 5, the Gerasene demoniac. Why didn't Jesus just save the guy instead? But he didn't do that. He cast the demons out. So why didn't he just, you know, sovereignly save him, and that would have taken care of the demons? So why did he cast the demons out?
Yeah, I'm not sure that the argument holds water for a couple of reasons. One, because how do we know that salvation did not accompany the exorcisms of the demons?
Hmm.
That's an assumption that people are bringing to the text, like with the Gadarene demoniac. He was in his right mind and he saw who it was who had done this, performed this miracle. Why should we assume that salvation did not come to his household, right in conjunction with the exorcising of the demons? But to go further into their argument, to suggest that they're suggesting that Jesus didn't just save them and have the demons flee, but actually exercised a power, control, and authority over the demons. There's a reason why Jesus did that, and it was to demonstrate that the kingdom of God had come among them. They had somebody in their midst, and this was believers, the unbeliever people in Israel had somebody in their midst who was claiming to be of Davidic origin, of the Davidic line. He was the greater son of David. He was the Messiah, and he was making these claims of himself and calling himself equal with the Father, and claiming to be Lord of the Sabbath, and claiming to be the one who has power over all of creation and all of authority, and to speak on behalf of the Father and demonstrate the power of the Father, and speak the words of the Father. These are the claims that Jesus made of himself. And one of the evidences of those claims was his ability to bind the strong man and to plunder his house. So
Right.
Jesus having these bold confrontations with the demonic was not intended to be a pattern for the entire church age, as if it's necessary for the entire church age. Just as Jesus healing everybody he came into contact with, or many of the people he came into contact with, was not intended to be a pattern for us to follow. These things demonstrated his authority over disease, over death, over illness, over creation, and over the demonic. Those miracles demonstrated that he has control over everything. And so you put together all of his miracles, and you see that when he raised the dead, he's demonstrating he's the Lord of life, and can control, has power over death, that he is the resurrection, the life. When he heals the sick, he's demonstrating that he is the creator who can make the blind to see. He can create seeing eyes. He can create speaking mouths. He can restore withered hands. He can make the lame to walk. He's Lord over creation. He turns water into wine, creates wine out of water. This is a creative miracle. Same thing with feeding the multitudes. And then his exorcising demons and casting out demons demonstrates that he is Lord even over Satan, that he has power over the demonic realm. These were all intended to be evidences of his messianic claims. So that this one standing in their midst who was saying, look, I'm the son of David, I'm Lord of the Sabbath, I'm here to save people in fulfillment of all Old Testament expectation and promise. And they would want some proof of that, because any Jew could say those things. So what is the proof of that? Well, the proof of it is that he heals the sick, makes the lame to walk, the blind to see, raises the dead, and exorcises demons.
Right.
And these were unique historical instances that were done. These unique historical events in the life of Jesus, intended to demonstrate that he is and was who he said he is.
Yep. And and by extension, the apostles, they cast out demons as well, but those were also
Yeah.
signs, right?
Yeah, giving evidence that they indeed spoke on behalf of Christ, that they were his spokesman. And they were signs. In fact, in the New Testament, exorcisms are called miracles whenever they're mentioned in the book of Acts, and they're even classified as extraordinary miracles. And so there are people today who claim that all Christians should be exorcising demons, that this should just be the part and parcel of everybody's ministry within the church, and that every church should be exorcising demons. But I don't see churches multiplying bread and fish and feeding starving multitudes in Africa. I don't
Right.
see them walking around raising the dead and emptying out hospitals and mausoleums and cemeteries and funeral homes. They're not doing those things.
No.
Yet they're claiming the power to do the same thing that is called an extraordinary miracle, namely exorcisms.
Right.
So this is not for us to do today. That's why there's no instruction in the New Testament regarding exorcisms
Yeah, that's
given
right.
to the church.
Kind of like hearing the voice of God. There's no instructions on how to do that.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. Yeah.